The human brain makes up roughly 2% of our total body weight, yet to function, it demands up to 20% of our entire energy supply. We often misattribute daily brain fog, post-lunch apathy, or late-night alertness to stress or poor sleep. In reality, these are the mechanical effects of the food you just ate reacting with your brain chemistry. Imagine sucking all the moisture out of your brain. The remaining physical architecture is constructed from dietary fats, amino acids, trace micronutrients, and glucose. Because your brain is built from what you eat, consuming nutrient-poor food is an act of actively compromising the structural integrity of your mind. To synthesize those structural nutrients, the brain requires massive amounts of fuel. That energy arrives as glucose, a blood sugar broken down from the carbohydrates in our diet. This graph shows the timeline of a high glycemic meal, like white bread or refined sugar. These foods cause a rapid, violent dump of glucose into the bloodstream, but that spike is temporary. Blood sugar quickly plummets, crashing far below the baseline. The brain's frontal lobes are exceptionally sensitive to these sudden drops in glucose. That sudden loss of focus and souring mood is the frontal lobe broadcasting a primary distress signal of acute nutrient deficiency. Shifting from fuel to architecture, the vast majority of the brain's dehydrated weight is composed of lipids or fats. Long-term consumption of trans and saturated fats physically compromises the brain. These bad fats force their way into the boundaries of brain cell membranes, destabilizing the entire structure. This leaves the brain highly vulnerable to degenerative conditions as the membranes fracture and break apart. Protecting this architecture requires omegas 3 and 6. These are essential fatty acids the brain needs to build healthy membranes, which we must get from nuts, seeds, and fatty fish. Dietary SAT is the literal physical wall protecting your long-term cognitive health. Choosing the wrong fats effectively tears that wall down. Inside that architecture, the brain relies on proteins and amino acids. These are the precursors to neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, the chemicals that dictate mood, sleep, and attentiveness. The brain is an exclusive ecosystem where amino acids must aggressively compete for limited access to your cells. An unvaried diet skews this competitive balance, resulting in volatile mood swings, apathy, and sleep disruption. To defend the system, the brain uses micronutrients. Antioxidants and vitamins like B6, B12, and folic acid form the brain's primary defense against disease and mental decline. Without these micronutrients, brain cells are left completely unprotected against free radicals, erratic, aggressive particles that destroy cellular tissue. A diet lacking varied nutrients creates a state of internal biological chaos, leaving the mind chemically unbalanced and its cells defenseless against decay. Your brain is a captive audience to what you swallow. It is forced to endure both the fleeting spikes and the long-term cognitive decay caused by a poor diet. Stabilizing the frontal lobe requires switching to slow-release glucose sources like oats, grains, and legumes. These complex carbohydrates provide a steady supply of energy, enabling a consistent level of attentiveness rather than a violent crash. Maintaining long-term cognitive health also requires a variety of trace minerals, like iron, copper, and zinc, to synthesize these nutrients efficiently. Eating is the moment-by-moment physical construction of the most powerful organ in your body. Every choice you make is a selection of building materials for your mind.